It was Texas, it was Tennessee.
So Tyler,
It was what I had
welcome to
committed.
Memphis.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Is
It's
this
good
your?
to be back?
That's what I was going to say. This is not your first time being here, apparently.
No, actually, my first time here is a pretty special story. It was after COVID, not long after. I had been watching, big fan of Dale Watson, of course,
Okay.
and I was watching his podcast. I don't know if you remember, he was doing them from here. Or podcast, I meant to say live stream.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were just fun to watch because I love them. And so one day we decided to make the trek, my lady and I, and we ended up coming here one night while he was playing. And Celine's on the end of the bar, following all the comments and all that. Anyway, a bunch of my fans, very kind to them, said, "Hey Dale, I don't know if you realize the guitar player you have in your audience tonight." And it's just like multiple people saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, and then my lady threw down some dough to be like, "Hey, get my guy up there." I had to push him over the edge, of course. But Dale's like, is there a Tyler James in the house?" And I like lost my shit because nobody told me that this was going on. I was here to watch a great show, and I wish I knew because I was getting after it. You know what I mean? I don't like to do that when I'm picking. You know what I mean? Maybe a few drinks.
Right, I
but
understand.
I'm like, oh man, it's a total surprise, and it was just so organic and beautiful. Dale had me up all damn night.
That's
So
cool. He seems to be kind of a, I don't want to say off the cuff. That might be wrong, but his band just leads a band like nobody I've seen.
He's spontaneous. For sure.
they just fall right in.
Well, they know like
hang on.
2,000 songs,
Right.
And
That's
and
old school.
Yeah, and if they don't, they'll get through it. Like Dale's always got a hot band, like real hot. And I love that. That kind of musicality personally gets me going, like that level. Like I always like to say, like I'm able to access things that I didn't realize I could do because of that level.
I got you.
So that's real fun. It's like a high in itself, that we're always chasing.
Well, if you didn't, if we didn't say this already, we're at Hernando's Hideaway, and what a I've talked to a couple people here in the past, but what a cool place.
It's beautiful.
It's
soul, man.
The only thing I can even people from Memphis don't know about this place, or they've heard of it and they've never stopped in and whatever, and they ask questions. I'm like, basically all I can tell you is it's kind of a time capsule. When you walk in, it's like you're walking back in the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, it feels that way and it looks that way. It's nice to see it's probably still ran that way, It's cool, man.
It is cool. All right, well, let's get into you a little bit. Just for those that don't know, who the hell is Tyler James Kelly?
I'm a guitar picker first. I've been playing my whole life. I got started at a really young age. I guess safely I could say 9 years old, really starting to take it serious anyway.
Serious at 9?
Yeah, addicted right away. I got all these funny old photos and shit. I don't really know why, but it's just always been a thing I gotta chase, And then the best music you can play as a guitar player is country music. So, and my Nana played a lot of country music. It's funny, I used to hate it too, like just as a rebellion kind of thing.
That's funny how that works.
Yeah, and I would pick on her and tell her to turn off, like Randy Travis and stuff, because I didn't want to listen to it. And now it's like, oh shit, she instilled
you hadn't
that.
lived enough yet.
Yeah, exactly. And anyway, now I've realized, God, it's in me, like so deep. That well of country music is very dear to me, and I've lived some of those stories. Sometimes I'm like, man, some of those stories are for me, for better or worse. Not proud to say.
Understood.
But I like that relation. I don't have any regrets. So it's like, wow, that song. When it hits you like that, you're like, man, I lived that.
Well, when Danielle texted me about you guys being here tonight and everything, I hit the Spotify, and the first thing that came to mind just listening to your latest album, we'll talk about that, but It's got an old soul kind of feel to it. You know, it in a not cheesy way.
Yeah.
Like it just feels natural.
Well, I appreciate you listening to it. It means the world. You checking it out and saying that. I'll never forget you saying that. I made this record because I'm proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I made damn sure that I got to that place first. Because if you hated it or anybody else, it wouldn't bother me at all.
That's tough.
You know, it's hard to get there, you know. And I finally got to that place where I'm like, sure, there's things I could change about it. Because I'm always after, you know, if you're not better tomorrow, there's something wrong going on, you know. But I appreciate you noticing that. I mean, I listen to everything I listen to is 70s stuff. I feel like the peak, it peaked then, you know, recording equipment, songwriting was a little more free. It wasn't like a fucking algorithm that these guys are doing now.
No one was chasing that.
Yeah, not 15 songwriters in one room. It's like,
right.
Cut the shit, guys. Like, it's so phony and obvious. Like, we're dumb. I'm dumb. I'm not stupid. There's a difference, right?
Understood.
Like, come on.
Understood. Well, it's just like it always comes to mind fluff.
Yeah.
Fluff is but you know, even these days when you get past the fluff and you find the authentic songwriters, then it stands out.
And that's what I've been doing these past like 5 years. It's like learning. Actually, even on just this tour, we've been touring Texas for the whole month, and we're ending here in Tennessee. But what I've really learned and loved is that there's a community of people like me, you know, like Brent Cobbs, and like I've always been a Hayes Carl fan, but you know, we're chasing songs and tipping our hat to our heroes all the time, and that's what should be celebrated about country music, is that there's always a tipping of the hat to a hero, or not in a cheesy way like you say, but you know, much like more of like an honorable thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people will say, well, there'll never be another Merle, or there'll never be another, and that's true. But there's also there is a Brent Cobb, and there is a Hayes Carl.
There is a Jake Worthington. Which,
you're right, without Merle, of course, there wouldn't, you know, there might not have been those guys, or that certain sounds or whatever. Right. But
sure,
just because those legends are gone doesn't mean that there's not legends right
in front
behind
of
them.
Yeah, right in front of them.
We're influenced by them, just as Merle was influenced by the legends before him. So there's good.
Jimmy Rock.
You might not hear it on the radio, but there's good music out there.
Absolutely.
Everywhere. So where are you originally from?
Rhode Island.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
I looked up to see where you recorded Dream River at, and that was Rhode Island. I was like, I don't think he made the trek up there. Just so.
It's a popular studio. Yeah, no, that's where I live. We're very lucky. We live on a river. My lady she fell in love with the property, and since that first day, she's called it Dream River. So just this thing was kicking around my head for a while. I was going through a lot of personal change as well, like just being more honest with myself and blah blah blah. Get away from a band that I was in and not being vocal about what I needed in life. But anyway, that home that we live in, it's not a big home, it's very humble. It's quiet.
Right.
Bald eagles outside when I'm drinking coffee, foxes in the winter. You know, it's really special. Snapping turtles, you know. I grew up swimming there. I mean, I saw my buddy's sister in a bikini for the first time. You know, like I was like, I changed that day. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Like it's a beautiful little section that nobody really knows about, which is kind of funny because somebody who's not from Rhodey, they know it's small as hell. So it's like, how could that be possible? It is though. You'd be surprised how many Texans don't know the rest of Texas. You know, there's a lot of beauty in that.
Understood.
Country, if you will. You know.
Understood. Well, there's you know, there may be a longer list than I know of, but I can't think of very many country artists from Rhode Island.
Right.
But you said when you first started playing music, you were and this is kind of generic, but just to get an idea how you got to where you're at.
Yeah.
One, what kind of music? You said you were starting at 9 or 10 and you weren't playing country music. What was the music?
No, I was trying to play as much blues as I could.
Okay.
So like more like Robert Johnson. I only listened to like Hank Sr. and Robert Johnson.
Okay.
Like those two just knocked my block off, you know.
Why? I mean,
I felt like they were.
It might be a stupid question, but why?
It sounds like, to me, it sounded like the beginning of everything. Like,
Okay.
even though it's not.
Understood though.
But both of them, I don't know, at the time, it's also part of my personality. Like, I guess the easiest I can say it right now is if everybody's going this way, I'm always.
Okay. I got you.
I'm never gonna. It's always been that way too in any situation. So my peers were listening to different things, but also my father gave me that's a whole other story. But my actual father gave me a box set of Jim Croce, and he got me going too. Like I was obsessed. Like that was my first obsession, was Jim Croce.
Understood. I liked him too as a kid too, but it was, because of like Don't Mess Around with Jim and
My father's
kind of
name
songs,
was Jim, so like that was his.
Oh, he loved that song.
That was his banger, and it actually turns out it's true. Don't mess with him. Like,
Don't mess
he's
with
not-
Jim.
Yeah, he's
No.
a
Okay.
tough son of a bitch.
Gotcha. All right. So you were just playing music, or you eventually got in bar bands and that kind of thing.
Yeah. You start like you dive into a little bit more rock as you get in your teens because you're rebellious, and I also unfortunately said to myself, because I didn't have good confidence, I wasn't taught to have that.
Understood.
I told myself that I'll never be able to play like Chet Atkins or Jerry Reed or like things that I've heard when I was younger.
Right.
And loved it, don't get me wrong, but it was just so above your head because it's truly incredible. Or like I mean, there's so many, man.
Right.
The list is long, but Glenn Campbell comes to mind. Like what a fucking monster.
Right.
Like at everything. Vince Gills. Those are my goals. Like I just want to be able to write good, sing good, and pick good. It's hard to do that because those scales are always moving around day to day. So I'm always trying to which one needs work today, And but that's always the goal, And then years later, I get to actually do it. So it's like, man, I'm actually able to pick this stuff.
I'm glad that you mentioned Vince Gill.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's just to piggyback on that. I know he's popular, but I say that quite a bit. I know they're popular, but I still think they're underrated.
I mean,
in the big picture,
he's one of the nicest guys on the planet.
He seems to be.
His
really
interviews, and he's so real. And my favorite thing about these types is that they talk about music like if they were doing this, what we're doing now. They talk about it like they first heard it. They're still excited to write a song.
Okay.
He's got all the money in the world. It doesn't matter. He's still excited to buy a guitar at the guitar shop, even though he owns all the greatest ones.
And hide it so he doesn't get in trouble when he gets home and all that stuff, right? And I saw an interview not long ago when he was talking about where he was asked to do some of his songs with the Eagles, and he declined because he just didn't feel comfortable. They came to see an Eagle show, not his show, and like that says a lot too.
Yeah, he's really honorable.
But like I said, I just even as a picker, I know he's extremely popular, but I still think he's underrated.
He is, man. They don't talk about him in the guitar world enough.
And the masses don't. I don't think they know some of the songs, but I don't think they really know what's going on there. You know what I mean? All right. Well, I want to make sure that we talk about it though. It's just as far as just getting to when did you start doing original music in Rhode Island, and where did you go from there? I mean, you're still based. You're still there. Live there. And
like I said, our spot is it's going to be hard to top.
I understood.
We are thinking about something. I don't know if it's going to happen, but just because there's more. Like I was just talking about the community and the peers. Where can I play more country music? I'll exhaust you how much I play. You know, I teach lessons during the day. I already taught 3 lessons this afternoon.
Okay.
I've been teaching for 16 years on Skype and stuff, so it's really fun. For as much as I shit on technology, it's pretty amazing. I can teach somebody in Utah how to play, you know, Merle, or anybody. It's incredible.
I'm sure that kind of keeps you going too.
It does. I used to hate teaching, and then I don't know, something clicked in me like about 10 years ago, where I was like watching people like be like, man, this has been in front of my face for 30 years. And I'm like, yeah, you just haven't been looking at it right. I like to tell people I teach them the way I wish I was taught. So like, I've already made all the mistakes for you, and now it's like a blue collar way of teaching. Like,
I'm sure it opens doors for you too, though, as far as, you know, things maybe that you haven't looked at yet, and when they bring things up,
yeah, sure. So every once in a while that definitely happens, and that's just part of teaching anything, you know.
Understood.
It's really cool to be that open, you know, and just let it be organic.
Well, that's cool. Especially you're able to do that out on the road and stuff. I mean, you were just saying you've been in Texas and everywhere else, and you're able to do those things.
You might know a little bit about the road is not easy, so you need every you know, I'm not expecting a high dollar tonight, you know.
Understood.
So it's like, thank God I got some lessons in this afternoon.
Understood.
You know?
And that's
talk about what people don't realize, you know.
No, and that's part of what we try to. We don't always get to it on the podcast, but it is one of the intentions is to talk about the not glamour side,
everyday,
the normal part of it, and the reason why those T-shirts and tickets and whatever mean so much, and who's sending them. Especially once you reach a certain level, those artists aren't having to do that anymore. But everybody below that level, they're packaging the shit and sending it out. Mm-hmm. They are their team for the most part.
Yeah. Hold on, let me get the manager right. you're like
I remember that
kind of shit. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I still want to know how did you get from the point where you're playing music in Rhode Island, and then you're touring?
So I think where it started was I would beat up New England quite a bit.
Okay.
Just because it's not nearby, but it's pretty easy to get everywhere.
And there's a
market.
Kind of like why people. Is there a market for trying to kind of original country music? Or
roots music in general is very much loved. I mean,
very cool.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of folks, you know, are a little ignorant to those things. I mean, I met a fella in Texas on this run, and he was a little aggressive. I'll just be polite and say that. But anyway, I had to school him and tell him, hey man, you know, Jerry Jeff Walker's buried here, right? And he said, yeah, I know. Really confidently and shitty. I said, he's from upstate New York, asshole.
Right.
Like, he's just a sworn in Texan. Like, he is Texan, you know, but originally from upstate New York.
A ton of people.
And
fit
in
that category.
Yeah, in the industry, I just use him as an example.
Understand.
But it has nothing to do with the price of eggs, honestly, when it comes to when you get outside of any city, the first thing you find is country. And it's any city in America.
That's, yeah.
When
I was young, I didn't get that really either.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of think country music, you know, at a like you said, kind of an ignorant mind, and as a young adult, you know, in my mind, like country music stops at the Mason-Dixon line. You know what I mean?
Right.
There are no country people,
right.
But that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it started somewhere.
That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's stupid to even think that country and the love for everything around
American
you
music
is
it's the most American. Originally, it was called folk music. Like Ken Burns teaches everybody that in his documentary, but I knew that before his documentary because I'm a fucking nerd. But it was folk music forever. Folk meaning people, right? Mm-hmm. Music for the people. So that's just everyday stuff, man. It has nothing to do with, you know,
where you're from or whatever else.
But you know, and then they got hip to it. Was the time in Bristol, Tennessee, where they're like, we gotta put a different word on this and market this to more people. Country. They slapped that name on because it was called folk music forever. So it's kind of cool when you learn these little steps that it's taken, you know, and it's always evolving, right? Country music is always evolving, and sometimes we don't like where it evolved to, like right now maybe, but it'll come back maybe. I mean,
there's always been cheesy country music too,
and
or
I
cheesy
believe
music on country radio. Let me rephrase that. There's always been.
I do believe you need a certain amount of cheese.
Understood.
Personally, like, you know.
I mean, I like cheese.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I'm a big cheese fan. Just not as much on the radio. But so as far as, I mean, you're still playing around New England and everything. How did you start? When did you? How long have you been at this where you're traveling all over the place?
Oh man.
I guess is a better way to put that.
I guess you could say like 5 years for like travel, if you want to. If I can answer that, I would say 5 years for like getting down to Texas and stuff like that. And I'm very lucky to have met Danielle, my manager. But I mean, these girls are turning into family. They're just so genuine, and it's hard to find somebody who knows who you are. Like I was just saying, they know I'm like very, I play all fucking day long. I will exhaust you because it's just something I do, you know. It's like, it's an extension. It pisses people off, I understand. But, you know, one of my favorite quotes is Billy Joe Shaver. He's a big hero of mine. And he said, oh yeah, if you're going to be a songwriter, you're going to piss a lot of people off along the way. And he's like, but it's just something that's itching inside that you have to itch. You have to do it no matter what. So I always loved hearing him say that because he's lived a fucking wild life. And I used to be a feral fucking animal too. So it's like I can relate to how this guy was thinking, you know. Like, I wish I could have hung out with him. We probably would have died, but I like to fantasize about that, you know.
You and Billy Joe here would have been fun in this room, anyways. But when you started touring, has it always been you writing your own songs and doing your own thing, or were you a guitar player first? You mentioned that.
Yeah, I was a guitar player. I still am like a hired gun sometimes, which is quite fun because I do like to shut up also and go sit over there and, you know, be here at
scratches another itch. And
yeah, I mean, I love playing guitar. But this tour has been beautiful because I can share my songs, and people, they're on the radio now, which I'm incredibly proud to say.
Very cool.
It's like kind of surreal, honestly. But I used to play with Sam Morrow. I don't know if you're familiar.
Oh yeah, he's been on the podcast. Extremely cool guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
About the most laid back person I've ever met.
Cucumber, right?
Between me and him both, I think we were almost too laid back.
Right. He's and he's a great writer. Sam's fun, and he's got his own story, you know, of hard times. So, and then Sam got me on a double duty run with Jamie Wyatt and him one time. And I just love Jamie. She put us through the ringer on that tour because she was pretty difficult at that time. She was going through her own shit, but I'm always rooting for her. She's killing it right now. I like singers that, you know, you believe what they're singing. You know, like every time she sings, I'm like, that's it. That's the stuff. You know. But yeah, so I kind of started there, and then me and Danielle. She's gonna seem to be getting me real busy, which is nice.
That's cool. We've had the privilege of sitting down with several folks from Keystone, which is nice to. One, it's nice to have folks that you just a common person that you can book podcasts with, but also the folks that we have talked to have been extremely easy to like and pull for and talk to, and from you, and then the Waymores and
love all these Waymores, man.
Honeycutt and all these different folks. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I was unfamiliar with the community and how much of a community it was until started talking to these folks.
Right.
Well, let's make sure. As far as you said, you played in Texas and everything. You just did a show with another lady that was on the podcast not long ago, Presley Hale.
Yeah.
You just like a couple days ago, right?
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
She was wonderful. Unfortunately, it was my first time hearing her. So, but man, powerful voice, and
she has her own thing,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah, people liked what I was saying that night because I had expressed that. What was I saying? It's nice to see that younger folks are keeping the storytelling alive. You
I
know?
did very much.
And she is, and it's natural. Like, it's just so natural to her. She almost like lights up when the microphone's on, whereas some of us are camera shy. You know what I mean? Like she like lit up. Like, I got this.
I wish I could see more. I mean, I don't mind my area, but the co-host of this thing, he's in the DFW area, so he's always,
It's a beautiful area.
he's always going to these shows and sending me videos, and all I want to do is like sending, you know, a big fuck you back. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, in the nicest way possible. You know. Because he gets to see people like Presley and, you know, all kinds of people that you know, a lot of folks might not know about, but you can't help but love them when you hear them sing, like you said.
First song, you're like, damn.
And yeah, that she keeps that flag alive of like the Emmyloos and and that kind of thing, which is you're not doing those things to try to be on top 40 radio. You're doing those because that's you.
You're not getting likes, you know, chasing Instagram likes and shit with that, you know.
Right. Well, I'm going to see you later this fall at North Springs. That comes up a lot on the podcast, but for extremely good reasons. There's going to be a lot of people that have been on the show before. At there, it's going to be like a family reunion of sorts, which is. I kind of laughed when the lineup was released because I know Dustin didn't do it, but I swear he just went down the roster of everybody and was like, okay, that one, you know. Anyway,
that's it. Yeah.
I'll just email all of these guests off of this one podcast. It's about half of the people there have been on, so. So I'm looking forward to that. That's cool. I just saw that today, actually.
Same here, man.
That you're going to be there. So that's a different feel. It's a festival, of course, but it is about as low key and out in the middle of no cell service, no, you know what I mean. It is where there's almost no difference between the backstage and front of the stage. The artists are always walking around, so the fans and everybody's talking to each other. No, but it's extremely accessible and cool and a good way to mingle and meet everybody that's involved. Which is I don't know how I'm not a big festival person as far as in the past. So usually a lot of people I'm not built for a huge crowd, but that one it does not feel that way at all.
Sounds like a nice pace.
It is. It's very, very, very laid back in the middle of a hayfield.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Sign me up.
Well, you are signed up, so you can't get out of it now. Let's make sure we talk about your album. And that Dream River. You said that was recorded because of where you live. And
I mean, sort of. It got the I guess the wheels rolling.
The song Dream River was inspired from where you live.
Yeah, it's I recorded at a friend's house. He built a studio during COVID.
Okay.
And much like the way you were saying about festivals, I'm the same way. I don't like the big festival thing, but I'm also like that with like fancy studios. I think they can come up pretty pretentious. Like, I don't give a shit about your cool couch or your paintings. I care about how a record sounds. You know what I mean? Like, they almost, you know what I mean? The environment.
It's the same as this room. If you walked in and you see the plush velvet couches and the zebra skin on the ceiling, and it didn't sound great in here, then it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter, man. It's like you're trying to do something that, I don't know, it's a little forced,
Understood.
But anyway, I really like that he built a great studio just in his home. So it's so relaxing, and my buddy Nick is who I'm talking about. He engineered the record. Nick Coolidge.
It sounds great, by the way.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we didn't put any compression on it. Like like I said, I'm a nerd about this stuff, so I didn't want any like phony shit sprinkled all over it. So that was fun. We have Will Van Horn, who's, I believe he's in Fort Worth, pedal steel, amazing pedal steel player. He's played with everybody. But anyway, just just tipping the hat and getting my career started with being a songwriter or going out on my own, I guess I should say.
How long kind of did you take on that album?
That record was probably like a year and a half.
Okay.
To actually, because I wasn't at it every day, and also I'm like a real songwriter, so
okay.
money isn't a, you know what I mean? I'm not a rich kid, so unfortunately, things take time when you're come.
I wasn't thinking about that when I was listening to it, but it doesn't sound like there's big gaps in it. It sounds pretty fluid. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like you just put songs together that you could afford to put together. I know that's how that goes, but it doesn't sound that way.
Well, thank you, man.
It sounds like you put together an album.
Really means a lot, you saying that, because that's how I feel about it. And like I said, I was going through a lot of personal change, so this record was like, you know what, man, you have to fucking tell everybody exactly who you are. And that was my goal. And I think I got there, you know. So it's just, I'm really proud of it being my first, like I said, there's some things I would change right now at this moment. But I'm happy with them, you know.
How do you get, I'm sure as a musician, that's really, you just have to let it go.
You do. You have to let it go. And
you have to raise the kid and just let it fly and see what happens. But how do you? I mean, I'm sure that's a nerve-wracking thing in some ways, but and proud. And
yeah, your heroes come into play. At least they do for me. You know, like I said, Billy Joe Schaefer's interviews, hearing things that he was thinking about. He was saying, you know, I kind of joke, you know, people say, what would Jesus do? I'm like, what would Billy Joe Schaefer do? That's what mine is, you know.
Understood.
And that's good and bad, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Not proud to say.
That's okay.
But I hit that button all the time. But back to the songwriting stuff, it's like, man, Billy released shit that, you know, but he's not known as a great singer, man.
No.
But he's heart and feeling, man. In stories, like, you believe every fucking word.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's special. There's so much conviction. I may be as ugly as a mud rail fence, but I'm loaded with hillbilly charm. You know what I mean? It's like,
which is a great one.
It's incredible, man. And he was, right? You're like, damn, that's who you're dealing with, people. You know?
He made it without missing a thumb. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Oh yeah. I tell people that too. Like, he waved to the audience every night
That's right.
Even though the other hand was perfectly fine,
he still
waved
on purpose.
This one. Yeah, gotta love that, man.
But you're right as far as that part goes. There's, I mean, a lot of people have done his songs, including Waylon and whoever else. But not that there's anything wrong with those covers, but there's nothing like.
The
Waylon recorded them because it was Billy Joe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But even Waylon's, I like that you brought him up. I mean, not known as a great singer, you know, but he was a great singer. But you know what I'm saying? It's like he's off in times, you know, pitchy. But you're not going to use any other take. It is perfect. You know, Good Time Charlie's got the blues.
Do you try to keep that in mind when you're?
That's what I'm trying to say. Is to answer your question is I have to keep that in mind, or else I'll never release anything.
Yeah.
So they are still teaching us in the grave. You know what I mean? That's powerful.
To just to let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. Life is moving. You know, like you can't sit on it forever either because it loses its magic.
That I could imagine on that part. I'm sure that is the hurry up and wait thing as a musician is
it's awful. I mean,
that goes
labels.
from sound check to releasing stuff to every part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, let's do a couple rapid fire questions and we'll get you out of here. One, thank you for taking the time. It was good to meet you.
Thank you for having me, man.
I look forward to seeing more shows and catching the whole set. All right. So when I say sad song, what's the first song that comes to mind?
Sad song. Yesterday's Gone.
Okay.
Vern Gosdin.
Can't go wrong with
you know
Vern. I don't know that one, but I know a bunch of them.
Please listen to that.
Yesterday's Gone. Got it.
It'll kick your heart around the fucking
Well,
parking lot, man.
I like that. I'll be in the parking lot, so that'll be fun. All right. Let's see. Desert Island album, which is a tough question.
Tough, man.
It's not my question. That's Steve's question. He's an asshole.
Desert Island, one record, man. One.
That's a tough.
Holy cow.
I asked did burnt CDs come into play, but
Shit, man. I mean, it'd have to be, for me, it just would have to be like Merle's With the Strangers, just greatest hits, or, you know.
yeah, that's the cheat code right there.
Yeah.
Greatest hits or
just-
compilation. That's
yeah.
that's the cheat code for any other artist that watched this. That's the
You learned it here.
yeah, exactly. That is the cheat code. Some box set or something. You know,
Yeah.
do your homework beforehand because he's definitely going to ask that question. All right. Let's see. What's another? If you could have your music, I don't know if you're a big TV guy or movie guy, but if you could have your music on any show, past or present, what would it be? Where do you think it'd fit?
I mean, I have songs on this record even that, like any Western, you know, like I love all of them, but there's songs like Hard Times. I don't know if you heard that on the album, but that's kind of tailor-made for some soundscape stuff. It would be an honor. I don't watch TV. I haven't in probably 25 years. We just don't, but don't want to waste time, you know what I mean?
Interesting.
Not in that way anyway. but yeah, I mean, there's actually some, I can't really talk about it, but there's some pitching going on about some cool stuff that I'm hoping that happens. That would blow my mind, but definitely something big in the not Yellowstone, but that world. I'll be able to say that.
Understand. Well, I hope all that comes together for you. It's
Well, thank you.
you know, as fans, we don't really think about how big of a reach things like that are, as far as how many eyes and
Look
ears.
what it did to Laney.
So many people. I mean, we got to talk about that with the Shane Smith and the Saints boys, and Dustin and different ones like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, they deserve it too. I mean, I just saw them literally blow the roof off of Luck.
They do.
Were you
They
there?
bring it every. When did you say it?
Luck reunion and
No.
Willie's.
No, I've never been. I've never been down there. There's so many shows. I catch what I can here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen them in a 500 seat room here, which is crazy to think that they would even play that.
Right.
At this point, which right at the time they were on Yellowstone, like within days of each other.
Oh man.
And you could tell that the people that found them on Yellowstone too, by the way they were dressed. Just there was a lot of fake buckle bunnies in Memphis that night. But whatever, you found good music, so
Sure.
welcome aboard.
Yeah.
All right, last question, and this is a mandatory thing. It started out on episode 1, and now it is a requirement.
Okay.
So it's kind of a southern thing, so I don't know if it reaches all the way to Rhode Island.
Yep.
But it should. Tyler, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Man, that is going to be very hard for me because I literally don't eat sweets.
I understand. There's a lot of people.
Never have.
This was a degenerate Southern question. That's
Yeah.
where that
I mean,
started.
I've had it.
We were like, "What is the most trailer park question we can ask?" So
What do you call the chocolate swirl?
the little roll
Little
thing?
logs, yeah.
Yeah, that's the Swiss rolls.
Yeah. I've had a few of those when I was really young, but
Okay.
didn't take. You know.
We had to ask some, something that's not serious.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
like I
sure.
said, what is the most Southern trailer park thing we could come up with? And that was
Trailer
one,
park.
That was one
Trailer
of
park, I understand very well.
that.
Yeah.
I understand. I know they're not just in the South.
Yeah.
Well, man, it was good to meet you. I appreciate the time.
Pleasure, man.
If you don't follow Tyler on all of his socials, make sure you do. Interact with the stuff that they post. Go check out his latest album, Dream River, and hit that follow on wherever you stream your music to, because that helps all of these things where he's talking about pitching songs, and it's a sales pitch.
Even
It's
booking shows, it helps in that department.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah, thank you. Please do what he's asking.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of people don't realize that. It sucks that you have to have a sales pitch and a package to present, but that is exactly you're presenting your resume basically to these venues and things like that. So hit that subscribe button, and when he releases new music, anything that we didn't talk about that is coming down the line that we need to make sure we talk about.
Just please, the website maybe would be cool, like tylerjameskelly.com, only because if I do get a larger reach, I'll be out in Montana, Wyoming.
I can completely hear that in your music.
Yeah, they're playing me on the radio in Wyoming, which blew my fucking mind. Like in the cars, like not satellite, like in a local. So that's every songwriter's dream, And yeah, I'm just here to hang with work hard, play hard people, That's it. No suit and ties.
Dale Watson all the way, right?
Yeah.